I'm Angel Tuccy. I am your media exposure specialist and here to answer the question, what is the media looking for? How do I get my story on TV, featured in radio interviews? How do I get the magazines, the stages to talk about me, to interview me? Well, good stories get good airtime. So I'm here to give you a couple of tips on how to start to craft your media story so that you can create unlimited visibility in interviews, being interviewed on what I call other people's platforms, other in front of other people's audiences, our secret formula, our secret strategy, right? No secret at all. Success is a strategy, not a secret. It's 2 interviews a week on somebody else's platform. Being featured on 2 interviews a week in front of, that puts you in front of 100 audiences over the course of the year. That's a pretty impressive number, right? That's a pretty impressive funnel filler, having, being in front of 100 fresh new audiences. But how do we get that? It starts with your story, right? Why you? There's 3 parts, right? Why you, why now, and what's your big idea? What's your big impact? So let's break this down for just a minute, right? Why you? Right? Out of all the other folks they could be interviewing, featuring, that are pitching to them, we want to start to build relationships with journalists long before we need them. And we want to start connecting with them and introducing our story in little bite-sized pieces. How do we do that? With a pitch, right? With a regular pitch every month, consistency. And what does that pitch look like? It looks like a press release. And in that press release, we're going to start to build the why you element of your story, of why they should pick you over all the other options that are, kind of scratching at them, right? Pulling at them and tugging at them, saying, you should have me as a guest on your show, right? But when we put out a press release every single month, we start to build relationships with the journalists. We start to build our story. We become familiar, and really journalists are often looking for that familiar guest. Who can we feature? Who can we bring in that we recognize, we know will be a shoe-in, right? A slam dunk. They're prepared, they're great, they're great on camera, they're great on, talking points, they've got great sound bites. These are all things that they're looking for. And we can start to develop that by sending a press release every single month. But the 3 elements to your media story are why you, why now, and what's the big idea? What's your big impact? And so as we develop the why us, why me, I want you to make a list, right? Write down, what are your qualifications? What's your street cred? What's your background? Have you hustled your way here? And they love breakthrough stories, right? Rags to riches, overcoming obstacles, overcoming challenges. Because truly you're there providing hope to the audience that if you can do it, they can do it too. Right? If one person can rise up and come out of, this challenge, then somebody else who's having that challenge might seek, might have that glimmer of hope and seek to do something new and different and exciting today. So write down a full list of why you, right? All the things, and fill up a piece of paper, because gosh darn it, you've done a lot, right? You would not be where you are today without all of the accomplishments, all of the things that you've had to scrap and scrape to get through. Or maybe you haven't scrapped and scraped, right? Maybe you had this, luxurious life. That's a why you too, right? How did you come to be, and who did you meet, and who do you know, and who have you rubbed shoulders with, and what connections do you have, and what doors, right, have opened, and opportunities for you that you've been a part of? What awards have you been nominated for? Nominations count, right? Nominations count. So what accomplishments, what certifications, and then of course that hustle and that street cred. Make a full list. Look at the value. Look what you bring to the table. And then let's pick and focus on the top 3 that really set you apart, that make you unique, that when people hear that about you, they're like, wow, right? So for me, 15-time published author, right? Wow. For a lot of people who want to just publish for the first time, 15 times sounds pretty impressive. 15-time published author, 10 years in broadcasting, 4 hours of talk radio every day, over 5,000 guests that I've interviewed, hosted over 2,500 broadcasts. Like, these are some accolades that when people hear them, they're like, okay, this is impressive. Maybe I'll pay attention. So that's the why you. Why now? Why? right? What's going on in the world? What's going on in the community? What trends are happening? This is something that might be related to the seasonal, right? So maybe you talk about seasonal depression. Maybe you talk about holidays, back to school, right? Traveling with families and, over the holidays, over the summer. So think about what seasonally is happening right now, what trends are happening that you can tap into, kind of piggyback on of why we need to have this interview now rather than later. Creates that sense of urgency. And then the why, what's the big idea? What's your big impact? This is the story. This is truly your vision and your mission in the world, the people you want to impact. And, if everybody follows you, if somebody takes your advice or does this one little thing, how will that ripple effect impact the world? Tell that story to the journalist. We can tap all of that into that press release and send that press release out to your media contacts every single month. Want help building those media contacts? I'll show you how in another video. But for today, work on your media story because good stories get good airtime. I'm Angel Tuccy, your media exposure specialist. You can download our complimentary media starter guide at my website, makeyourbiguimpact.com. I'll see you soon.